Good afternoon. Welcome to the Embedded Executive Podcast. My name is Rich Nass. I am with Embedded Computing Design. My guest this week is Ohad Yaniv. He is the CEO of Variscite. How you doing, Ohad?
I'm doing well. Thank you for having me here. It's been my first time, first of many, I hope.
Well, we'll see how you do before we
I'll try to.
promise you a second appearance. I'm sure it'll be fine because we want to talk about something that's I don't know if controversial is the right word, but it's definitely important in the way the world is, and it has to do with the supply chain. But before we get into that, let's let the audience know who you are and who Variscite is. So just take 30 seconds to go through what Variscite does.
Okay, so Varisite is a leading SOM system on module vendor. We've been doing that for over 20 years. Over these years, we've released more or less 2 to 3 new products every year with our ongoing expanding portfolio. All of our products are based on ARM architecture application processors. We have been releasing solutions from based on cheap vendor solutions such as NXP, TI, Qualcomm, in the past also Marvell. Varisite is has a very large customer base on the medical side, medical device manufacturers. This is one of the main reasons that we have certified our entire operations for ISO 13485 in order to ensure that our medical customers and actually all customers can enjoy the top and most consistent quality requirements, including traceability, 100% functional testing on all units, and basically everything they need to pass FDA certification. We have in-house production facilities that are taking care of our entire operations and production. We are not using subcontractors in the process, which allows us full control on the supply chain, both on the production side and also the procurement side. And this has also been very helpful during the last 5 years, where we're being moving from one crisis to another. And we have R&D teams that reside partially in this. Some of them are residing in Israel, and the rest reside in the basically spread worldwide with teams in Italy, Brazil, Germany, and the US. And basically, we are trying to make sure that our team is as close as possible to our customers, being able to support them both on their native language and on their time zone. And we've been
So let's
supporting
go back
customers
to that.
worldwide.
Let's go back to that supply chain challenge. You said that it's been a challenging 5 years, but I want to narrow that window much further because I think like the last 12 months with what's going on in the memory space, with this data center craze and AI, and now what we won't talk about political things, but it's hard to avoid it. What's happening in the Middle East? But let's stick to what are all those things doing to the supply chain? It's obviously not business as usual for somebody who's been doing this for 20 years. So what are some of the obstacles people need to avoid? And then how do you do that?
Well, I think that the last 12 months, as you mentioned, specifically when it's coming to DRAM components and flash components, has been extremely problematic. It started with some of the DRAM components, LPDDR4s and LPDDR5, that started the that had the location issues. And it started piling up because we've seen eMMC and flash component joining this crisis, and then DDR3s and DDR2s. And currently, we're at the point right now that every flash and RAM component is at a location, and we are also seeing PCB due to certain elements that are used in the production process that are also under a location. So it's basically one crisis on top of another, and basically making every component a problem. And I think this is, on the one side, this has been a challenging time. On the other side, I think this is where the companies such as Variscite that have been with us in this market for 20 years and have been able to establish a concrete position with vendors such as RAM components vendors such as Micron and Winbond, and flash component vendors such as Kingston and SanDisk. We've been getting priority and thankfully managed to allocate enough components to meet all our customers' demand. And this is something that I'm not sure too many companies can attest to.
Are you doing things from an engineering perspective to help navigate some of these waters, or is it strictly we've been able to get the components that we need?
No, it's been I think this crisis has affected all of our teams in Variscite. It starts with the operations, of course, that has had to push all the existing vendors to allocate as many components as possible. Our R&D team has been qualifying secondary sources to components. Initially, we used mostly Samsung RAM components. We qualified Micron components and Winbond components and ISSI components. For the eMMCs, we use SanDisk, but we also qualified another 2 vendors to support the eMMCs that we require. Variscite is ordering over 4 million RAM and flash components a year. And obviously, we do get a priority from all of our vendors. We're talking volumes that are considerable for every industry. So we have been getting priority, but still we had to increase the funnel as much as possible, and our R&D team has been working around the clock to qualify components.
And what do you say to the folks who aren't as fortunate and who are not able to get the components that they need?
Our URL is variscite.com. They should contact Variscite as soon as possible.
Come on, we're here to help the industry. I mean,
I think
one of the answers, I guess, is what you said about being able to qualify the parts from many different suppliers. That's one of the answers. Are there other things people can be doing?
Well, one of the things that Variscite has been doing, and this has been a strategy for Variscite even before the previous component crisis, we are stocking, but we are maintaining buffer stocks of about 6 months ahead of even 12 months ahead for all critical components. And this has been serving us in this crisis. Variscite, we started this crisis with some safety stock that can cover us for 1 or 2 quarters. On many of the components that are currently under allocation. And this basically allowed us not to even delay deliveries, not to mention stop them completely. And the fact that we got priority from all our suppliers and also the new ones together with the buffer stocks helped us to secure deliveries for almost a year now during this crisis. Now, the main challenge, of course, here is to be able to finance everything. And this is where our scale helps. And not necessarily everybody else can do it.
But you know that's a risky endeavor as well, because it wasn't that long ago when people did what you're saying happened, and then those parts became obsolete and they were stuck with these obsolete components. So you do have to be careful that you're ordering things that you're pretty sure you're going to be able to take advantage of.
That's a good point. I think that there's a risk of them becoming obsolete, and there's also the risk that the price will drop significantly, and then you end up with very expensive stocks. So, and I think the way we are dealing with it, on the one side, we have a very large customer base that mitigates the risk of getting stuck with components, and the flow of components is relatively stable. Even if one segment goes down, there's another one that compensates. So we can take these risks, and there's also the financial side that Variscite allows it to sustain it. But at the end of the day, you do have to take some risk and to make sure that you can deal with these kind of crises. Otherwise, again, the risk is that you're not ready to deal with them, to resolve the issues when the crises do occur. And it seems like the industry is going into this kind of sinus wave that basically we're going from one peak to a slump, then a peak. So this is why procurement is one of the most complicated algorithms that the Variscite is dealing with.
And then to throw another wrench into it, at times like this, we often see a lot of counterfeit parts being put into the market. how do you make sure that what you're getting is actually what you think you're getting?
One of the things that Variscite has been doing since day one is we have a no jobber or broker policy. 100% of the components that we're ordering are being ordered from official vendors. The Micron components are ordered from official distributors. The Winbond, the ISSI, the Kingston, all of them are ordered from official distributors. We're not looking for components in the field. We are our entire policy also this is so we don't have this kind of risk to deal with. The risk is that we have to sustain certain stocks to cover this demand, but we are not using this kind of components, and I think this is one of the reasons that our medical customers can sleep well at night, and all other
So
customers as well.
if you were to look into your crystal ball, when do you think that this memory shortage will get back to normal?
Well, it's kind of hard to say. So on the last component crisis, everybody said it's gonna last for 2, 3, 4 years, and then after a year, it was like, it was gone, and everybody started cleaning out stocks that were accumulated during this crisis. If you look at some of the press releases from vendors such as Micron, they are looking at 27, 28. But I think that at the end of the day, nobody really knows. Variscite is assuming that it will continue throughout 2026 and probably well into 2027. Not sure 2028 is the case, but we are continuously adjusting our procurement policy to make sure that we are aligned and don't take too much risk from either side of the strategy.
Very good. Well, thank you, Ohad. I appreciate you taking the time to discuss this topic, which hopefully won't get worse before it gets better, but it might be some time before it actually gets better.
Yeah, it seems like, again, it will take some time, but once again, as I mentioned before, with production facilities and full control of the supply chain, at least we can rest assured that we can deal with it, even if it gets worse than it is right now. But hopefully it won't.
Good to know. That was Ohad Yaniv. He is the CEO of Variscite, and I am Rich Nass with Embedded Computing Design.
It's been a pleasure. Thank you.